Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to our online classroom. Yesterday we discussed about our first chapter, 3 Levels of Empowerment. I think all of you understood this chapter very well. Then I ask one question for you. What are the 3 essential factors for empowerment? Yes, learning, labor and leadership. Now we go through the paragraph question answers and key points of this chapter. In your textbook, page number 11, we can see the excerpts from 2 very well-known persuasive speeches. What do you mean by persuasive speeches? എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ പെർsuasive എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ നമുക്ക് പ്രേരിപ്പിക്കാൻ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ മറ്റൊരാൾക്കൊരു പ്രേരണ കൊടുക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്ന തരത്തിലുള്ള സ്പീച്ചസ്. ഫസ്റ്റ് വൺ, I have a dream. Martin Luther King Jr., who has awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964, had the ability to tailor his speaking style to suit the audience. I Have a Dream is a speech delivered by Martin Luther King Jr. On 28 August 1963 to 10,000s of black Americans and others who assembled at Washington. ഇവിടെ പറയുന്നത് മാർട്ടിൻ ലൂതർ കിങ് ജൂനിയർ നടത്തിയ ഒരു സ്പീച്ചിനെ കുറിച്ചാണ്. അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് 1964 നോബൽ പീസ് പ്രൈസ് കിട്ടിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ ഓഡിയൻസിന് അനുയോജ്യമായിട്ടുള്ള രീതിയിൽ സംസാര ശൈലി മാറ്റുവാനുള്ളൊരു കഴിവുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ഐ ഹാവ് എ ഡ്രീം എന്ന സ്പീച്ച് ഡെലിവർ ചെയ്തത് മാർട്ടിൻ ലൂതർ കിങ് ആണ്. 28 ഓഗസ്റ്റ് 1963 പതിനായിരക്കണക്കിന് ബ്ലാക്ക് അമേരിക്കൻസും അതുപോലെ തന്നെ മറ്റുള്ള ആളുകളും വാഷിങ്ടണിൽ ഒത്തുകൂടിയപ്പോൾ ഉണ്ടായ ഒരു സ്പീച്ചാണ് ഇവിടെ പ്രസൻറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു എക്സെപ്റ്റ്സ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അതിൽ നിന്നെടുത്ത ഒരു ചെറിയ ഭാഗമാണ് ഇവിടെ പറയുന്നത്. So listen carefully.
I have the pleasure to present to you Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. Five score years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, The Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my poor little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, one day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. One day every valley shall be exalted, and every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is the faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with new meaning, my country, tears of thee. Sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. And so let freedom ring. From the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom ring. From the mighty mountains of New York, let freedom ring. From the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania, let freedom ring. From the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado, let freedom ring. From the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring, and when they capital, when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, thank God Almighty.
Second one, Franz Romans. The oration of Mark Antony in Shakespeare's Julius Caesar is an oft-quoted declamation. It is a typical example of persuasive speech that sparked a conflagration for change in the minds of the audience. ഇവിടെ ജൂലിയസ് സീസർ, ഷേക്സ്പിയറിൻ്റെ ജൂലിയസ് സീസറിലെ മാർക്ക് ആൻ്റണി നടത്തിയ ഒരു ഒറേഷനാണ് ഇവിടെ പറയുന്നത്. ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് എ ഓഫ്റ്റ് കോട്ടഡ് ഡിക്ലമേഷൻ. അത് വളരെ വികാരനിർഭരമായൊരു സ്പീച്ചായിട്ടാണ് കാണുന്നത്. നമുക്ക് ആ ഒരു ഡ്രാമയിൽ കാണാം. ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് എ ടിപ്പിക്കൽ എക്സാമ്പിൾ ഓഫ് എ പെർsuasive സ്പീച്ച്. അത് ഒരു പെർsuasive സ്പീച്ചിന് ടിപ്പിക്കൽ എക്സാമ്പിളാണ്. പെർsuasive വിച്ച് മീൻസ് നമുക്ക് മറ്റൊരാളെ പ്രേരിപ്പിക്കാൻ കഴിയും, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ വാക്കുകളിലൂടെ നമുക്ക് എന്ത് ചെയ്യും, അത് ചെയ്യാൻ തോന്നുന്നു, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അത്രത്തോളം ഒരു പ്രേരണാശക്തിയുള്ള തരത്തിലാണ് അത് സംസാരിക്കുന്നത് നമ്മുടെ മാർക്ക് ആൻ്റണി. ദാറ്റ് സ്പാർക്ക്ഡ് ദ കൺഫിഗറേഷൻ ഫോർ ചേഞ്ച് ഇൻ ദ മൈൻഡ് ഓഫ് ദി ഓഡിയൻസ്. അതെന്ത് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്? ഒരു വലിയ മാറ്റം തന്നെ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഓഡിയൻസിൻ്റെ മൈൻഡിൽ ഒരു വലിയ മാറ്റം തന്നെ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു ചേഞ്ച് തന്നെ ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. സോ ലെറ്റ് us experience the speech.
He says, for Brutus' sake, he finds himself beholding to us all. 'Twill Brutus bring no harm of Brutus here. This Caesar was a tyrant. That certain. We are blessed that Rome is rid of him.
You gentle Roman.
Peace. Let us hear him.
Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is often interred with their bones. So let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus hath told you Caesar was ambitious. If it was so, it was a grievous fault. Grievously hath Caesar answered it. Here, under leave of Brutus and the rest, for Brutus is an honorable man, so are they all honorable men. Come I to speak in Caesar's funeral. He was my friend, faithful and just to me. But Brutus says he was ambitious. And Brutus is an honorable man. He hath brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransoms did the general coffers fill. Did this in Caesar seem ambitious, when that the poor have cried, Caesar hath wept? Ambition should be made of sterner stuff. Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. You all did see that on the Lupercal I thrice presented him a kingly crown which he did thrice refuse. Was this ambition? Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and sure, he is an honorable man.
Next, an assignment for you. Christine Lagarde suggests various means of empowering women. She persuasively insists on the idea that women should think and act independently. Keeping this in mind, prepare the script of a persuasive speech with the help of video on the topic Education is a Key to Women Empowerment, to be delivered at the school assembly on International Women's Day, March 8th. you.